if you want to. I don't think you should.
Oh, okay.
Because so I think the second
Maybe
one,
that's why I had some struggle.
I think the second one is universally agreed upon to be better. I really like some of the emotional because
I'm being told in the prompter that I don't need to.
No.
I mean, to go back and watch
that's what I'm saying. The first one is a lot more rough, and some of the emotional arcs work better because they take more time. But the pacing and the show as a whole, I think, is worse.
All right.
So I would just watch Brotherhood.
All right. Well, we'll just have to see whether I do manage to do that. First, though, we've got a game number 2 to commentate here, as the draft has already unfolded somewhat as far as the bans are concerned. The Yone, the Nidalee, and the Jace already taken away here.
That's 2 of the problems.
There we go.
Taken
Sion
away.
First pick. Let's do it. What are you going to do now, ZEUS? There's only hundreds of other champions that you could... well, never mind. It's not hundreds. There is over 100 other champions available. Volibear is obviously the option.
I wouldn't mind. I've seen some Volibear starting to pop up. We're not going to pick it here, I don't think. Kalista, open, Poppy.
Oh, Kalista, Renata, unanswerable.
Banned. Well, you can hold off on the Renata until you know what they're playing, right? Because maybe if they pick Renata, you can... Well, Nico is gone, but you can go for something that doesn't quite gets boomed as hard as the Trundle. We've been seeing a lot of... It's good into Kalista. It's good into any AD matchup. I don't think it's likely ZEUS is going to pick a tank, so you'll lose a little bit of value on your ultimate.
You also have, like, not a lot of damage if you're picking it alongside a Sion. As Renata, the pick away here. Varus Renata, a fair bit of power there towards the bottom side of the map, and you deny the Kalista Renata, which has been very powerful. Zeka just thinking about locking away a mid lane champ.
I was kind of expecting him to maybe go for something like the Alistair.
Yep.
For Delight, I'm kind of wondering, does Delight want to go towards like...
I actually like it because I feel like you then just have to ban Rakan Alistair if you're on the side of the DN Freaks, and it does really...
Like,
never mind. Where's Soraka-ing?
Yeah, you know what
I literally just had a banana. If you can put up the cast desk, I just had a banana. I've got proof right here. I could tell.
There you go.
I could tell. See? That's my former banana, now just a banana peel that I'm not going to place on the ground. We know that they're very dangerous.
We knew it had to be something kind of crazy, because if you pick something like Nautilus, you're basically just hard counter or self-hard countering. I was thinking like maybe Fresh Kalista, you know, they used to be one of the classic combos. That's something you could do. Blitz, but no, it's the Soraka here for Delight. I do worry a little what it means for HANWHA Life, because I do think that the reason why they've been so consistent in fights is because they have Delight, who's possibly the best engaged.
Wait, now you've got engaged Soraka.
Yes, that's what you want.
Because he's got Fate's Call. You can just engage with the Fate's Call.
I know you can throw her in, but we definitely don't want to... That we'll see it, but that's not really...
Do you know that if you're playing Mario Kart, most of the time the bananas go behind you, but if you hold up on the joystick... I
know, you can throw them in front of you.
You can throw them in front of you. That's actually a thing that you can do. So that might be the tech that Viper is looking to exploit.
It's the banana in front of you?
Yeah, yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely, hopefully not going to see that as a main form of engage. But we'll see. Maybe
might be one
Life thinks otherwise. It does mean that if we don't get an alternative source of engage, HANWHA Life is going to be somewhat reliant on finding pick angles with this.
Ambessa Aatrox going to be taken away here, as we're doing our best to protect Dudu at all costs.
Like Camille, maybe? You're definitely picking the top laner here.
Well, Vladimir could be an option.
So Vladimir makes a ton of sense when you think about getting the Vladimir to be as strong as possible, as soon as possible.
Sir, can I interest you in an Oblivion Orb?
Well, yes, but
I feel like the amount
Soraka,
of anti-heal
the value
here is absurd.
Okay, but I don't actually think HANWHA Life, now that we have this comp, unless they get something that kind of pulls it together, aren't you just playing for 1-4 or 1-3-1 and you just... Because no one is going to be able to answer ZEUS. It's just not happening. Like, as Victor against Vlad later on, you just get...
Yeah, ran around.
That's
a Bel'Veth. That's kind of fun, right?
I guess. I'm not...
I mean, I don't know if it's like gonna win or it's good, but it's fun.
What else would you go? Like Wukong?
Yeah, Wukong would be like your more standard option. And that is what they're gonna opt for. This is a bit more tier listy. As big grin on Pioshik's face, I think he was very much considering the Bel'Veth angle, but decided to instead go to more something that was going to work.
Like, do you pick like Silas here? Galio? Yeah, so Galio was what I was thinking to kind of solve the issue.
I mean, it is going to be a lot of
it's just
a lot of magic damage.
So
I guess they've got Callista.
So that they have Callista's in, right? But it's more so. I'm just looking at the HANWHA comp, and I'm kind of wondering, like, you're playing almost a full melee comp into Renata, Wukong, and Victor.
Yeah.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the rift for the second game. The DN Freaks looking to see whether they can extend the series. Take a game off HLE. And Life is going to take a little bit of damage as the Wind of War do go down, but not too much more. Just some Starfalls here for Delight. Do you remember when Soraka used to just walk around and press Q and it would just hit anything? I remember watching
I do,
LS's stream.
But not enjoy.
Watching LS's stream about 8 to 10 years ago, where he was the guy that would just play Soraka mid lane.
That just reminds me of eras of League where obviously my core example is always Sion, AP Sion, you know, with the shield.
Yep.
At the point that was the point and click stun, right?
Yep.
You used to have that, yeah.
That was the only button he had.
Yeah, and then
oh, then you got a Lich Bane, so your right click was also kind of button.
Remember Corrupting Pot, and then you went old Pantheon, and you just pressed your Corrupting Pot, and you would press Q on them like 3 times.
You remember Red Pot Rengar, dude?
I remember Red Pot Riven.
Or Red Pot Tiger Stance Udyr.
Oh god.
That was the reason Trick 2G was like so popular.
And I don't like doing this to myself, but you think anyone watching right now watched any of this?
No idea. But I mean, some LS lore came out, so that's kind of cool. People like that sometimes.
Also, there will be some old heads out there. I know there are.
Oh yeah.
That were there and they're like, yep, I remember back in my day.
Uh-huh.
They know.
There was definitely some forbidden tech that was pretty ridiculous. You remember the old, like, the best Vladimir build back in the day?
What, DFG?
No, 6 revolvers.
Oh. Wasn't what was it called? Will of the Ancients?
Yeah, Will of the Ancients.
That was a Vladimir item.
Yeah, you had to, like, I remember after they made it unique so that you couldn't just stack a million, you know, lifesteal, or what was it, Omnivamp. Yeah, you'd have to build Will of the Ancients and then an extra revolver.
Wasn't that when Spellvamp was still?
Yeah, Spellvamp, but that's the one. Which is basically Omnivamp. It's kind of like the same thing. Because you only really did spell damage anyway. As Viper and Delight, as you'd understand, are going to have this lane pushed up.
Yeah,
Soraka old tech into the Renata.
Yeah, trying to play Renata into not engage supports is just generally a really unfun experience. Because you don't actually have the trading potential. Your bailout doesn't quite get you the value in this type of scenarios where there isn't an all-in. You know, it's okay, but for giving some extra damage over, but it's just not enough. And
oh god,
yeah, this one
the
thing,
snare
like,
actually connects, and the Ren not quite enough, but still, it needed that barrier.
You guaranteed get whittled down, because as long as the Light doesn't just randomly spam his abilities, you are going to get out-sustained very, very badly.
Yep.
But then if you ever misstep and you get caught by a snare, you also just lose all your life.
Yeah, or at least just your life.
No.
And because life is now not there. You can see Berserker, he's going to back away.
Good
I said
call.
barrier, I meant Guardian. That did save him there.
I do kind of wish Berserker went for lethality in this setup.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I actually expected it to happen. And maybe that's why the Bel'Veth was being hovered, because they were like, oh, consistent AD, that could potentially be Bel'Veth, and then we can go lethality, but in the end, they decided that this was the way. I'm not entirely sure. Is Viper going to get flashed on here? Does flash away. Life potentially an overextension, but is just going to walk back to the wave. As Pyosik turns up, they have a lot of vision in this area. You can see HLE not going to overextend, especially with no blue stuff on Viper. Dudu getting down low. The Crimson Rush going to be there pretty soon for ZEUS. We'll find it, but not going to be enough damage just yet. Level 6 almost to be gained for the Vladimir. As Dudu not having a great time, although even in farm before this wave crashes.
Yeah, this is about as fun as the matchup gets, though. Once Vladimir actually starts stacking ability haste and he gets closer to level 9 on his Q.
Is it sort of like a Nasus feeling?
Yes, where you're like, oh man,
Yeah, this is fine.
This is kind of okay, not great, but I guess I'm okay, because Science base values are pretty aggressive early, right? There's a reason why we always meme, but you can actually get solo kills on Cyan if your opponent missteps.
We've seen it.
We've seen it even in the LCK, surprising amount. But yeah, I think ZEUS is just living his best life, just trying to get to 2 items as soon as humanly possible.
Yep, does make it to level 6 as well, so that Hemoplague is up and available. And Dudu just doing his best to be able to pick up. Why is it that Vladimir is one of the champions where I remember every single button name? Super weird.
I don't know. Do you just like Vladimir? Was there like an iconic...
Not really. For some reason, that's just like in my brain. You know, Transfusion, that when you get the 2 stacks, it's Crimson Rush, the Sanguine Pool, Tides of Blood, Hemoplague. Don't know what his passive is, but it's probably Hemomancy or something like that. I don't know. It's just weird. Some of them stick.
It might also be because it's a really old champion.
That's true.
And I feel like it used to be a much bigger thing because at some point...
And then you like learn all of the ability names and they change them all. Like
yeah, well, like
Swain.
Grand Sky, Starfall.
Oh, no, yeah.
We all know.
It's a problem. Anyway, Peanut is coming on over. He will find a control ward. Speaking of the Tides of Blood, they do come out. So this is a little worse for wear here as Dudu playing up in this lane. Gonna get the crash in onto Peanut, who does walk his way out.
Yeah.
Still, trade of ultimates, nothing really to worry about.
Yeah, he was never really at risk of dying there. Having used the ultimate is also fine. Peanut also takes a decent amount of damage, actually. Pioshik is still full health. But no prio, as we do see Pioshik should be... the reason why Wukong, I think, is actually surprisingly solid is because the Q, right? Kind of keeping Peanut down, and then also the armor that you stack with your passive, but you also still...
It's sort of like a more aggressive Trundle. You know, Trundle is the same thing, very good at fighting against AD champs.
Trundle, to me, is a lot more niche in when he's good, but I do think when there's a good Trundle angle, he goes really hard.
He does go really hard. Kind of like yesterday when you can convince your opponent to pick Ornn into it.
Yeah.
Still possible.
Yeah, if like you pick Trundle and then they pick Xayah and Ornn, and you're like, well, I don't know why he would do that, but thank you, I guess.
Yep. Viper is now trying to bounce away from Berserker. There are a lot of sticks in this guy, as the bailout just perfectly timed, and Berserker will be able to grab the duo kill up against Viper here. Felt like it was close, but in the end it was not, and Delight unable to actually keep Viper alive.
That is why we go the on-hit variety, I guess.
Yeah, just walking him.
Walks up. Viper misjudging, I guess, the bailout as we're taking out a look here. Is it life?
It was right on the end of the bailout, is what it felt like.
As we see here, the healing not enough, and yeah, can't outplay the bailout if you're that low. If Delight has his ultimate, I think Viper actually gets out. If he still has his flash, he might get out. So that is a run-of event, a run-of play being
it's just gonna
from life, right?
It's gonna help reinforce the DN Freaks 8-minute stats. Because as you can see here, once again, it is an 8-minute gold lead. They are really living up to their reputation of laning well, playing out the early game well. They've got decent plans that are in place. It's just navigating the rest of the game that has seemed difficult for this squad. As Peanut going to be taking the remaining 2 grubs here. And Pioshik already with one of them. So no huge advantage to be gained, but it is going to be 2 objectives as far as the feats of strength are concerned for HLE. And back to business here towards the top side of the map as Viper will be getting some of that health back here from Delight to put on that pressure where they can, but the DN Freaks probably pretty happy with where the game is sitting right now, especially from this top side bottom lane perspective. Top side bottom lane, it's confusing, but you know, the champs you're seeing on your screen right now.
Big advantage for, or relatively for HANWHA Life, is that as Life does in fact pick up the Oblivion Orb very early, which we do love, is the ult.
Oh, Chains of Corruption gonna get flashed here. A lot of respect from Viper. Delight does heal him back up again, but this is a great look from the DN Freaks, especially from this bottom lane as Berserker. He has been a linchpin for this squad. Remember, I mean, we were memeing about it a little bit, but in the games that the DN Freaks win, Berserker doesn't die. That's how that works. He is very, very important to this squad.
What is remarkable is Viper, you go barrier because of the lane, right? Like that's the main reason, as I know which VODs Dudu has been watching.
Yeah. He is going to pick up some turret shots, but oh, drifting gloriously. What was that? He ping-ponged off the wall. That was very confusing, but I think probably just a little bit of a glitch in the matrix here as far as our spectator client is concerned. He gets over there and manages to just go back home.
I think he could have gone for one more wave. I think leaving there is a little bit cowardly. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh man.
No, just one more wave. It's fine. If you die, it's worth it. Worth for the tempo, Atlas.
Yep. No, that's that must be it. All right. HLE gonna come on over. Yeah. We'll see what, maybe we can get a show match. We can talk to Lost Returns about maybe coming over to Korea and playing off against the DN Freaks.
And then we can just have Brendan Veldas and Ox cast and just say drift, what's drift for the entire broadcast. That's just
In
the
fact,
whole
we don't
cast.
even need them to cast. We can actually just get the track.
You can soundboard it?
Yeah. And actually, we could get a DJ to just play an LCK soundboard over the top instead of there being commentary. No, actually, then maybe that'd be too good, and then we'll lose our jobs forever.
No, I think that should be us, and we can just press buttons.
Oh,
the whole
yeah.
time. And we will think it's funny, and everyone will get very sick of it very quickly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, that sounds fantastic. Arcane Storm here into the mid lane, as ZEUS is going to trip over the gravity field just momentarily, but otherwise it's going to be A-OK. Oh, man, we got to make this happen. Maybe we should talk to Kadril. Kadril, if you're listening, let us know whether that's going to be a possibility.
Surely.
Because I kind of just want to see it. Just, like, curiosity.
Who is the best drifter in the LCK?
Yeah.
And then Baus is the judge.
I think Baus is probably just better than anyone that we've seen.
Well, I don't
because
think
we haven't seen a lot of great.
Well, we should have him compete, right? We should just have only top laners, and then I guess Lahens just for reasons.
I just want to see like a 5v5, just DNF versus Lost Returns. Like, I think it's fine. I mean, I do want an excuse to like hang out with Nemesis again because that guy's really cool. You know,
that was my
worked together
favorite part of the T1 Genji memes when we had all the openings, and then we had the one with Nemesis, the one with Atlas with Wig, the one with Lore.
Yeah, he had to put up with me with no hair.
Well, you're always annoying. I don't think the hair makes a difference.
It made it worse, though. Could you imagine? You don't have to imagine. You're pretty good at it. All right, sound off. We'll see whether we can maybe get like a poll or something like that. Maybe we can sponsor it. We'll figure out a way.
Is this another one of those games where we have fun and then all of a sudden it's over?
Well,
no, it's definitely I actually think I like the Freecs comp more. Yeah. I think that the HANWHA Live comp for me, I'm happy to be convinced and see how I'm wrong, because maybe Pioshik is just going to go super deep for no reason, and then Dudu's going to follow. And then if HANWHA Live kites back, I think this comp actually does wonders, right? You have a lot of space you can create with the Zinzao, you have the CC and the safety from Zeka. In the long fight, you always win because you have Soraka. So we'll see. I'm happy to be convinced and be wrong. But right now, the only thing I'm certain about is that ZEUS will become eventually, what's that guy? Exodia? By himself?
Yeah, this is the problem. Yeah,
or Thanos, or whichever is your preferred bad guy.
Yeah, he can snap his fingers or whatever. I like the Yu-Gi-Oh reference. I think Exodia is the way. As Bulldog is going to move on over here, Zeka is going to find him, throwing some justice via a punch into him. Pioshik's still just getting to work on this Infernal Drake, though, as Peanut is going to come on over. This will be the fight starting. Chains of Corruption down as they are targeting the Soraka, but the Fate's Call going to be there. The Wish just in time to get Peanut out of danger. And now the taunt comes through. Justice Punch, gorgeous from Zeka, and a double kill for ZEUS. This is exactly what the DN Freaks could not afford to happen. And my God, I could say that this is probably the best composition to have when a Chemtech Soul is revealed. HLE couldn't have manufactured a better outcome. Outside of maybe Viper not getting hit by that Q.
Why did we take a 4v5 DNF? What happened? I actually don't know what happened.
What if they just won?
Well, but you're not going to win because they're a member up, and now Vladimir is 2-0.
Yeah, no, it's not good. I was just posing the question just to, like, someone had to ask it.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at the replay, because you can't be backing and then TPing with the slow TP. Okay, 4v5, Pioshik dies. Okay, ult from life. Berserker can't approach because he doesn't have a front line. 4v5, the fight is lost. Dudu's here. Well, what do you mean?
Yeah, no, what do I mean?
What do they mean?
Yeah, I think what do they mean? Well, they meant maybe they thought the Scion was going to come
Either
early.
Pyosik needs to chill out and not go in, or Dudu needs to make sure that he's just TP. I'm sure you were going for your item finish. You could just be there, use your shield, use your passive, die. As long as Berserker can play the game, that's your one strong member. But he needs a front line. You want a front to back. We had everyone everywhere.
All at
DNF. I'm mad. I don't.
Yeah, well, Dudu and Zeka are doing battle down here, okay? Whilst you're molding, we've got a very serious fight on our hands. And Zeka is going to move out of the way. The DN Freaks will be able to collect themselves the Rift Herald. HLE a little bit late to this play. As Delight wanting to throw some bananas around and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that second item on Vlad is...
yeah, it's coming in hot,
it's
isn't it?
pretty accelerated, Atlas.
Yeah. And he's got the Rift Maker. This is, you know, the one that he
went-
really needs.
Yeah, I went Conqueror as well, so like in a long side lane.
Yeah. Or in a long team fight as well. It's not like this is going to really hinder him if he wants to be a bit more of a team fighting Vladimir as well.
DNF, we had one, you just needed to win one game.
Yeah.
Just one game.
And it has to be this one. It's not like you can win game 3 after losing games 1 and
No,
2.
that's
not
not
how
a
that
thing.
works. You're just canceling game 3. That's all we wanted. You could have done whatever you'd like. And HLE, they have a composition that is quite confusing.
And now
Something that could have been dealt with. But now it's going to be much more difficult. Well, I mean, we're saying much more difficult. It's only like 600 gold. But HLE, like, they're 2 Drakes away from Soul. And it's the Vladimir that we're looking at as a bit of an inevitable situation.
it's the underlying concepts, Atlas, of just taking a 4v5
I hate underlying concepts.
for no
man.
reason. Well, now
Much prefer far more obvious
now,
concepts.
DNF, you've brought out Satless. Is that what you wanted?
Yeah. Satless. And it's Sunday. It's as far away from Satless as possible as far as the Saturday version. So it has to be Sadless.
Wait, you have Sadless?
Yeah, you have to word fuse a little bit extra in order to get to
so
Sadless.
you have Sadless, and you also have Sadless.
Is that Satellite Atlas?
I don't know, man.
I don't know what's happening.
What is Satellite Atlas?
Atlas technically is a satellite. Because Atlas is a moon around.
Yeah, they're also a game developer. It's not really relevant for the conversation at hand,
I
right?
was named after a moon, okay? So I'm already a satellite.
Well, you named yourself after the moon.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's a good name.
Yeah.
That's
Thanks,
nice.
Barry.
Thanks, Barry.
Yeah, my mate Barry helped me out because I wasn't allowed to have my original name. You can check out the lore on the Pog State. I believe we go into it just a little bit. Maybe that bit was cancelled. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, my name used to be Slappy Baggins. Anyway, DN Freaks now just looking to see whether they can set up for a contest around this dragon. 50 seconds until it's back up and available. HLE have been extending their lead just a little bit since that happened, and also picking up petals. We didn't see that other petal go down, but I believe Peanut will be able to get there and collect it.
So what is...
See that it's gone on the minimap. There.
What is your favorite Lord of the Rings movie, then?
My favorite Lord of the Rings movie?
Oh, because it's Baggins, right? Like.
Yeah. My favorite Lord of the Rings movie is probably The Two Towers.
I never hear anyone whose favorite is The Two Towers.
I don't know. Christopher Lee is just incredible.
He is, yeah.
I really did just...
I'm a Return of the King guy. You know, that's kind of boring, but...
Also, the extended version of Two Towers is probably the best extended edition.
Oh, because it has, it has a ton of extra...
Yeah. And like Merry and Pippin hanging out in Isengard together. It's just really, really fun. As Viper is hopping around, dude, takes a lot.
We get a redo. We're barely behind. Okay, Vlad doesn't have 2 items yet. Berserker's still strong. You can do this, DNF. You can bring us to that game 6. I believe in you. Pyosik, they don't know you're there.
All right, well, Pyosik is going to be discovered, but now the value of the Galio comes in. The Wukong able to get out those warrior trickster comes on through, and now there is a Hemomancer in amongst everyone. Dudu trying to be that frontline as Delight just gets in there with a massive knockup. Viper having to flash away as the huge taunt comes through from Zeka, being an absolute hero. There is going to be ZEUS going down. That's a raid boss removed, as I've seen this movie before, and it is going to be both of them dying. This time around, Delight almost able to save his AD carry. A 2 for 3, though, should mean that Soul Point still goes over to HLE.
And even despite the Delight ambulance, Berserker and Viper trade 1 for 1, but it's Pina that's alive, Pyosik that's not. As Pyosik if you go in just a second earlier, I actually think with the stealth, you can make that work, right? Like, they might be able to catch them off guard, get on top of the back line, but instead, so much has to be invested just to try and keep this monkey alive, and then ZEUS goes in pretty deep, but it ends up being okay. But this fight position isn't great from HANWHA, right? They're fighting to a choke.
And the Hemo play didn't really get too much amplification.
Yeah, there wasn't too much follow-up. But then they do actually get ZEUS. He does go down because he goes back in after using his flash, which felt unnecessary. And then here, if Alive actually can keep alive Berserker there, I think that means that they get the Dragon. Instead, it's still Soul Point. It's still not the best fight, but DNF fought their way back out of what I thought was a lost fight and a really rough situation there, so still in the game.
Yeah. Still Soul Point.
Yes.
And Chemtech Soul, we often meme about, you know, we're often like Orc, Susja, all that sort of stuff. But this time around, it's Vladimir Soraka.
Even Galio and Xin.
Yeah, Galio and Xin as well. I mean, Viper's got like some stuff that's going to help out there at the same time. Like it's just not a good place to be for DNF if they give over this soul. It's probably the best one for this composition.
That was so funny because Dudu bored to Otacon and it was like, attack ZEUS, and ZEUS put him to one. Otacon was like, no, you yelled at me. I'm gonna attack you. What are you trying to do? Still mad, by the way.
Yeah, he's very frustrated. It does finally go back, as it looked like Dudu didn't even notice that was happening. So Cosmic Drive is done here for ZEUS, so he does have those two items completed.
He is also 3-1. I think
when Magic Pen comes in, ZEUS will be immovable.
So I'm kind of expecting him to just go Death Cap.
All right.
Death Cap third. I think you get you really need the AP, and the extra value you get on your Riftmaker ain't bad either. It does mean that you're not going to be able to kill Dudu nearly as nicely, right? Because you're not going to be able to cut through him quite as efficiently. But you also don't care about his damage at all. And,
that's true. So you just take a bit of extra time.
Yeah, and then everyone else will die if you look at them because you have Death Cap. So we'll see. Maybe he goes for like Criploom first, especially if.
I wouldn't mind Criploom with the potential Chemtech Soul.
Oh yeah.
Sounds valuable.
With Conqueror and just being Vladimir Riftmaker, right? Doing damage is also more healing, so we'll see.
Well, this is a full commitment to the Otacon.
Zeka just TP'd to top.
He did. He does have the heroic entrance, but he is a long way away. He's out of range for now. Let's see what can actually occur from this one. It's down to 3,000. Peanut could get in for a potential steal, but it's not going to happen. Arcane Storm now just zoning them away, and HLE just going to have to exit. Crimson Rushman is doing a whole lot of work here in this matchup on the bottom side, but Dudu is starting to feel better about it. There's just so much health bar to get through.
It's bait. Don't trust it, Dudu.
Well,
there's even the ultimate. That was such a good call from DNF.
Yeah.
I'm kind of flabbergasted. I think as
bit of a misplay from Zeka more than anything, right?
Well, I think it literally was, as soon as Zeka TP to top,
yeah,
Bulldog TP down.
Just really good heads-up understanding of what you're allowed to do on the map, what you're able to take away. As Viper hopping around looking for Pyoshik here as the slows are mounting. He does get himself out.
Oh, Berserker did ghost. Walked it off. Getting the objective is nice, getting Otacon is solid, but it's not going to make us suddenly believe.
Yeah.
Don't need to see an actual teamfight win, but credit what credit is due again. DNF, they've really cleaned up the mid game because this was a team that would be ahead by like 1,000 gold, and then 5 to 10 minutes later they would be down 5,000 gold very consistently.
Well, we're moving towards that because these turrets are just kind of...
It's 2. It's fun. It's 2.5.
Yeah, and then if the top lane goes down, that one's ready to go. This mid lane's also ready to go, so maybe that could be where some ground is going to be made up. I'm
doing a little bit of it's not that bad when it kind of is.
Yeah.
But it's not that bad.
Yeah, you're sort of like trying to convince your partner that this item at the antiques shop is worth purchasing when really it would have no use at all.
I am the partner that needs to be convinced, so I don't know how I got myself in this position.
Okay, never mind. Yeah.
And you're the partner that's trying to convince.
Every time. I want as much useless stuff as possible. And actually, it's sort of like, it does get confusing in our dynamic.
It is really cool, because that's how I end up with a great pair of inline skates.
That is true.
I just have.
I do just tend to, I tend to just make purchases because I think that might be a cool thing to do. And
Well, again,
don't think about the need.
I'm happy. You know, they've been great. We've had a good time
we have.
skating together. It's been
Exactly,
fun.
there you go. As Zeka is going to be behind enemy lines momentarily, 10 seconds until the Chemtech Dragon is up and available. Pioshik probably wanted that health bar to be not empty, and is going to be able to knock away the Galio. The Baron has spawned right at the nick of time as Berserker will take out the outer turret in the mid lane. HLE a little bit out of position here, as that wave is going to go wanting. And now they get control over this area.
Oh, he's coming in early. Dudu knows.
Yep, teleport to come through. Flank angle there for ZEUS at the same time, but this dragon is very low. There are the knockups as Peanut comes on through, and the Justice Punch is good. It is going to be the Drake secured by HANWHA Life Esports. Is into the backline, goes ZEUS. Hemoplague explosion is gigantic, and Chemtech soul value is absurd. Viper able to utilize it as he cuts down the remainders, but he's the last man standing now. Pioshik and Dudu, can they deal with this Kalista? That's the question as the Rensets come in. The last remaining bit of damage is taken out
Oh, no!
as he's desperately trying to hop over this wall.
He accidentally
and he just
hopped
lets
over.
Dudu live.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, based on his movement, I'm pretty sure he didn't mean to do the one hop over the wall.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna spear back. That also didn't work.
Wait a second. Now it's the opportunity, as Roar the Slayer does come through, so I don't think
No,
it's
there's Warden's Mill, there's Unending.
Yeah.
And also, killing Stein isn't really essential to the one play. This counter engage from DNF is actually kind of the dream. Zeka's ult really doesn't hit the mark, and Life preemptively ults, and then watch ZEUS, watch ZEUS, watch ZEUS. Oh my god.
Yeah.
3-man ultimate. Berserker literally just gets popped like a balloon, and yes, ZEUS dies eventually, but who cares? All the damage dealers are dead. Which
And
is
then Viper can do whatever he wants.
Yep, especially with that Chemtech Soul. The barrier, and then, wait, watch. So this was great. This one, this hop. I think then after that he wanted to go back over.
Yeah, no, he failed to get back over the wall again.
Oh, that play there. So ult, flash, E.
Yep. And then you get like the E pull, so the Tides of Blood goes off as the Hemoblade's popping. It's just kind of disgusting damage. And Nails, like, this is the thing. We saw the teleports coming in. The Dudu got there early, but the flank angle from ZEUS, the deep vision that was available here from HLE to allow that to happen, absolutely essential to the play. So ZEUS, 4, 2, and 3 now, does have Leandries. That's what he built second, so he does want to kill Dudu in a side
Oh,
lane.
I like that.
Yeah, kind of getting some value
There's
there.
a lot of health stackers on the enemy team, right? So you get a good amount of value there.
Yep, upgraded shoes as well. Look at this, everyone with the fancy kicks.
ZEUS loves Swifties. That's the second game in a row.
Did you see there was like a Reddit post about like as soon as like anyone builds Swifties, you must build Swifties. The item's just kind of absurd.
It is, particularly this version of them, right?
Yeah.
Like they're just so good.
Yeah,
VLADIMIR,
upgraded Swifties were already one of the ones. As Dudu, big ol' health bar. They do manage to get through his shield. Congrats. Starfall is going to connect, but not too much more. They're just trying to convince them that Baron is not somewhere that you're allowed to look at. Unless you've got a Scry's Orb. But that's only going to last for a couple of seconds before it's denied by the control vision that is available here for HLE. Viper having a great time. Does have his Terminus done. It's item parity between Viper and Berserker at the moment. It just feels like HLE have been able to utilize this just a little bit better outside of those great moments with the bailout. Life gonna have to make sure he is hitting that button at exactly the right time to make sure that Berserker is given the longest leash possible in these fights.
There is one rod for ZEUS, level 16 now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Zeka is also doing like a fair bit of damage as well. Does have his arm guard now completed. Scalio getting some work done. Gold lead, not anything worth speaking about, right? It's more about the outcome of these fights, the Chemtech soul value. There's so many things that aren't explained by the gold.
You know what counters Chemtech Soul?
What's that?
You know what? It spawns 2 minions.
Morellonomicon. Oh.
Oh, Elder Flip.
Oh, yeah. Elder Flip is pretty good at that. You do lose a lot of that zone of Chemtech value. As all right, Peanut not able to quite find the avenue in here, but Berserker is also going to get taken towards that bailout very, very quickly. The wish comes on through. And the Soraka very, very happy with having that extra healing available here. As HLE continue to push forward, Pyosik trying to stay stealthy, but he is going to be denied anything. And without Berserker, there is going to be no hope in any team fights. ZEUS just wandering slowly away from the DN Freaks as HLE look towards the Baron.
Berserker dying with flash up there, making the call. I think we can kill him in the bailout. They couldn't.
No.
They really couldn't. And so it just ends up being a catch. No AD carry. And I think we're going to be cringe today, Atlas. That's what it's looking like.
It's looking pretty cringy.
As Berserker, yeah, here the call is made. We're not going to get him out, or I assume that's what it is. So instead, we're going to try and play. I think maybe an earlier ult could have made the difference there from life. But
Dudu and Pyosik are going to try and kill ZEUS here. That was a lot of health that he got back.
He has kept Exol.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
he was holding the pull as well.
He has kept Exol.
And Viper is now over here. Pyosik is already dead. Zek is teleporting in. It's a bit of a celebration here by the looks. Everyone wants to be around as the zombie pops up, and Dudu and Pyosik, absolutely nothing they could do. Chemtech Soul, Vladimir, level 18, 3.5 items. Just no. Like, you're not gonna do anything.
I'm just a little sad, Atlas. I'm taking a moment to
fair enough.
accept that what we wanted today might not
might be
happen.
taking a moment as well. Never mind. He made it to 50% health, where Immortality just decides that it wants to pop in. Level 16 now for the Zinzao.
And now they can turn that into a guaranteed play towards the Dragon.
Wow, I just saw an incredibly poignant comment in Twitch chat. It just said, Jeepers. I would 100% agree. Jeepers is the perfect way to describe what's going on here.
That is, because imagine you're just going about your day, you know?
Yeah.
You're a monkey, you're Wookiee, you're just living your best life.
Yeah, you're like,
then,
oh, 2v1, we got this. And then you're like, oh, Jeepers.
This horrifying bloodbender shows up, and you're like, we can take him out. And then he doesn't, and he turns into a puddle.
Elder flip!
Well, is it really? I guess it is a flip.
It's a flip.
Yeah, no, Pyusik's here. They can win.
Unless Viper gets loads and loads of sticks in.
Atlas, no, it's fine. They're going to mistime it. It's really hard to actually do this well. They're going to flip.
Well, he's hopping around a lot. They managed to get the Baron from
the Giga Call.
Last time around is, oh, dearie me. Viper going to have to use everything to get himself out. He gets the Soraka out as well. As into the back line they go, and oh my god, they used him as bait! The entire time. Over the wall goes Peanut, and Pyosik just reeling after this one. He gets into the pit, but it's not going to work. And Viper, he didn't even make it to that 50% threshold. He just got himself out of there, took his Soraka with him, and allowed the Gargoyle and the Hemomancer to get that work done.
I'm pretty sure ZEUS in that one fight did more damage than Berserker in the entirety of last game.
Oh, God.
He did like, if that was correct, like 9.3k.
Yeah.
That's more, right?
Yeah, I would say that that's more.
Oh,
but that's more than a lot of people do in a whole game. That's more than a support does in 4 games. In one team fight. Okay, HLE, a swift